Right. Good day, grade 12 learners. Welcome to today's tourism lesson. I'm Mr. Samgel Innocent Luyanangonyeni, one of the grade 12 tourism educators and HOD at Ekurhuleni South District. This lesson is brought to you by Gauteng Department of Education in collaboration with Sibona Discovery Center and a broadcast by Pagama Research and Development. I welcome you to today's lesson. And today we are going to be focusing on marketing in tourism context. My sources are from Via Africa textbook, grade 12 tourism learners book, Focus grade 12 tourism learners book, and also Oxford Successful Tourism grade 12 learners book. I hope you have a pen and paper there at home, and I hope you're going to be learning one or two things from me. Right, we are going to be focusing today on marketing. You will remember that in the past 2 weeks, we have been focusing on foreign market share. And when we were busy focusing on foreign market share, we looked at different tourism stats and also different tourism graphs. We also note that when we were busy studying those graphs, let me just show you one graph. We also noted that when we were studying those graphs, some of the markets that we have, I said markets in this context, talking about what countries from where we are getting our tourists from, they shown what a decline, meaning a decrease in tourism numbers. So this is what we're going to be looking at today in terms of what can we do in order for us to not have a decline in tourism numbers so that we can continue to have what? A decrease in tourism numbers. I said we are going to be focusing on marketing South Africa as a tourism destination today. But then what are the lesson objectives for today? We are first going to go back a bit from grade 10. This will be an advantage for those who did tourism in grade 10 and also those who are doing business studies, right? So we are first going to learn today in terms of what is this marketing that we are talking about, meaning I'm going to explain the concept of marketing. From there, we will move to learning the importance of marketing South Africa, meaning why should we market South Africa as a tourism destination. We will then move to who is the business and who is the business of South African tourism? What is the business of South African tourism? There we are going to be looking at who is the organization that is responsible for promoting and marketing South Africa internationally. Then once we have identified the who part, meaning who is the organization responsible for doing this marketing, we will also look at the core business or the main functions of that particular organization, and we will be focusing on South African tourism, right? We will then move to opportunities to market South Africa internationally, meaning, as we said that when we be doing foreign market share, that the aim, it is all about getting international tourists coming to South Africa. So we're going to check at where can South African tourism actually go and promote South Africa's attractions internationally. Our main focus there will be on the ITB Berlin and also the WTM, which is World Travel Market. We will then move to funding for South African tourism. There we are going to be talking about monies that are needed for what? For marketing. Monies that are needed in order for South African tourism to be able to do what? To go out there and do its marketing functions. We will then move to the concept of branding. We normally know people are talking about what is a brand, what is a brand, is a brand. So we'll also look into that, but in tourism context in terms of marketing. Then before I would be concluding, then I'll also be looking at, now since we have spoken about opportunities to market South Africa internationally, we now also need to look at what opportunities do we have domestically. But in this context, I'll be talking about what in Africa per se, meaning what events does South African tourism have that promotes what South Africa were domestically or in our continent. Then we will conclude by doing few activities. Right. I'm just going to give you this graph again, right? Remember when we were busy doing foreign market share, we spoke about what the number of tourist arrivals to South Africa, right? When you look at this graph, they are focusing on the number of arrivals that arrive in South Africa when between January to March, for which period? For 2020 versus 2019. And what is our main focus? It is still on foreign tourist arrivals, right? When you check this part, it is giving us the grand total in terms of the number of arrivals. It was 2,429,177. But when you check here, we are saying there is a minus. A minus means what? There was a decline. So we are saying we need to have an increase all the time when we do what? When we calculate the foreign arrivals, right? When you check what happened in Americas, again, you had a minus. When you check in Africa land, you also had a minus. When you check Africa air, we had a minus. When you also check in the Middle East and Asia and Australia, those are the markets that we have, we also had a minus. When you check in Europe, again, we also had what? A minus. A minus means one, it means what? It is a decline. So this brings us to the main topic for today. When there is a decline in tourist arrivals, it means that something has to be done in order to encourage tourists to travel. I'm saying there was a decline in tourist arrivals or volume or numbers, and something must be done in order to encourage tourists to travel. Let's just now check what is it that South African tourism can do in order for us to try to attract our markets, in order for us to try to attract tourists to keep on coming to our country so that we can have what? A rise, right? Or a growth. Let's check first, what is this concept of marketing in tourism context? This was also dealt with in grade 10. So when we are talking about marketing, we are saying it is the action or the actions of a business of promoting and selling products or services. It is the action or a business of promoting and selling products or services, right? Then we are also saying it includes market research and also what? Advertising, right? You will remember that also some of these concepts, you're also getting them from grade 8 and 9, where you're doing your EMS, Economic Management Sciences. So we are saying marketing, it is the action of or a business of promoting and selling products. In this context, what is a business? In this context, our business will be what? Product South Africa or South Africa as a country, right? So what must happen? It means that South Africa must be promoted, right? Meaning it must be promoted where? Or sold in terms of selling, sold where? Outside to the other countries. It also includes what? Market research. When we are talking about market research, we are saying, remember, I said when you're doing foreign market share, market in tourism context, we are talking about what? The people who are coming from outside. So we're talking about the countries where we get most of our tourists from. So we need to go out and do market research so that we can know who our main markets, what is it that they like, what is it that they'd like to experience, so that we can be able to do offerings that are going to meet their needs or satisfy their needs and wants. We are also saying once promotion has been done, remember, you are focusing on your potential clients or your potential markets. What else must be done after market research? We are saying advertising must be done now. What must be advertised in this context? All the tourism attractions that we have here in South Africa, they must be advertised. So marketing, it is the action or a business of promoting and selling products or services. It includes market research and what? And advertising. The second concept, they are saying marketing, it is all the activities undertaken to promote the buying or selling, delivering of the products to consumers or other businesses. All the activities that a company does. So in this context, what are activities? Activities here entails what? Doing promotions, selling the products, doing market research, trying to do the advertising. And the company here, what do we have? It is what? Product what? South Africa, right? It is the activities that a company undertakes to promote the buying or selling and delivering of products to who? To consumers. So our consumers in this context, in tourism context, will be our international tourists, right? Or our foreign tourists. So this will be our potential consumers or people who might come to buy what product South Africa, because this is what we are going to be selling. So marketing, it is the activities that a company undertakes to promote the buying or selling, delivering products to consumers or other business. It is all the actions or a business of promoting and selling products or services. It includes what? Market research and advertising. Now I move to, to still the continuation of what is marketing, and also you're going to learn in terms of why should we do market. Say it is the process of getting people interested in your company's products or service. Remember we said that there are countries that shown what? A decline on that previous graph. So when there was a decline, it means something has to be done. Maybe those people could not come here because they never knew about what South Africa has on offer. So why are you doing marketing? If you want to do, if you want to see an increase in terms of the tourism numbers, then we need to continue to be doing marketing. What is the purpose? The purpose or the main goal of marketing, it is to generate revenue. Revenue in this context, it is what? The profit. It is to generate what? Revenue or profit. In what way, Mr. Ngoyin? We know that what is our brand in this context? It is brand what? South Africa. So we are a product what? Product South Africa, meaning the attractions that we have here in South Africa. So once we go out there to do marketing, we want all those international tourists or we want inbound tourism to happen. We want those tourists to choose South Africa over Mauritius. We want those tourists to choose South Africa over the attractions that we have in Zimbabwe. We want those people to choose us over UK and so on. Why? Because we want to generate revenue from them. We want to generate what? Income from them. And we know that the more they come to our country, it is the more they're going to stay longer, more especially because they are from international countries. And the longer they stay here, it is the more they are spending their money. Remember, they're also from countries with powerful currencies. So the more they get here into South Africa, it is the more they are going to be spending their money. And this is what we want them to do when they get to South Africa. So we are doing marketing so that we can be able to generate a revenue or profit for a brand, a company, or organization. And our company in this context, it is what? All the attractions that we have here in South Africa. Right. Then we move in terms of how can we increase foreign market share? How can we increase the number of international tourists? So here it is, the number of international tourists that visit South Africa. So how can we increase the number of? The solution for that, it is what? Marketing. So if you want to continue to be getting people from outside coming here, what must happen? South Africa must be marketed as a what? As a tourism destination of choice. Those foreign tourists will not visit our country, or they will not to continue to visit our country unless the country is being marketed, unless if the country it is being promoted. So the only way for us to increase our foreign market share, it is when we do what? Marketing. So we are saying South Africa must be marketed as a tourism destination of choice. Right, let's move now in terms of why do we want to market South Africa internationally? Reasons for marketing. So I hope you have a pen there. Then you are also adding these notes down. We are available there on our WhatsApp line 063 629 3655 063 629 3655. This is where you can be able to interact with us so that you can send us your questions and then we can be able to respond to you. So we've got few reasons in terms of why market South Africa international. The first reason, we are marketing South Africa international so that we can have an increase in the annual volume. When you're talking about volume here, we're talking about what? Numbers. Numbers of who? Of foreign arrivals to South Africa. So we are marketing South Africa international so that we can have an increase in the annual numbers of foreign arrivals to South Africa. Annual means per year. Remember, per year we want to see what? An increase and not a decline. So unless we do this marketing, then it means what? The number of international tourists will not increase. The second reason in terms of why do we have to market South Africa international? We are saying we need to market South Africa international so that we can have an increase, right, in international awareness of South Africa as a channel. We were still looking at the reasons as to why must you market South Africa international. Reason number one, I said, we need to market South Africa international so that we can have an increase in the annual volume or numbers of foreign arrivals to South Africa. So we want South Africa to be a must-visit tourism destination. Right? The second reason, why do we want to market South Africa international? So that we can have an increase in international awareness of South Africa as a travel destination of choice. So we want all those people outside to say, I want to go to South Africa. I want to go and experience what South Africa. And we are saying unless they are aware, right, they will not come here. Unless someone makes them aware of the cuisine. When you're talking about the cuisine, you're talking about the different types of foods that we have. Then they will not come unless if someone tells them about our Africa's Big Five, right? The wild animals that people can be able to experience when they visit our national parks. They will not come here. Unless if someone tells them about the different cultures that we have, the different tribes that we have, white, African, Indian, Zulu, Sutus, Xhosas, and all of that diversity, the cohesion and all of that, unless someone tells them about all those things, then people will not choose to travel to South Africa. Unless someone tells them, makes them aware of the quality of our accommodation establishments, unless if someone tells them about the scenery that we have, our beautiful mountains, our beautiful oceans, unless if someone tells them about our how trains, then those people will not choose what to come to South Africa. So we market South Africa for two reasons. Number one, to have an increase in the annual numbers of foreign arrivals to South Africa, or to have an increase in annual volume. I said when we're talking about the volume in this context, we are talking about what? The numbers of foreign arrivals. The second reason, we are doing our marketing so that we can have an increase in international awareness of South Africa as a travel destination of choice. Then I say, in order for us to have an increase, to increase the number of foreign arrivals to South Africa, it must first be marketed, right? So that people can know about it. Unless we do marketing, then people will not know about all the beautiful things that South Africa can offer to the international market. We've got beautiful hotels. We've got beautiful conference venues. We've got beautiful hospitality sector. We've got beautiful roads, right? We've got the Gautrain, for example, the road systems, right? We've got the Ria Vaya Pass. So all those people, they need to know about this so that they can be able to visit our country. Right. I hope you have written down those reasons in terms of why do we want to market South Africa internationally. All right. Let's try now to elaborate in terms of why now do we want an increase in foreign arrivals, right? Remember we said that the aim of marketing, it is so that we can have what? An increase in foreign arrivals. The aim of marketing, it is so that we can have an increase in our foreign market share. So once all those people, they choose us, they're not just going to happen. We will have an increase in numbers of foreign arrivals choosing us. And then there I've given you 5 advantages of an increase. Number 1, remember that when tourists comes here into our country, they need what? Our foreign currency. Our local currency. So they come from their own countries with their foreign currency that cannot be used here in South Africa. So they will have to come here and buy our local currency, which is ZAR, right? Meaning currency exchange must be done. Meaning that is the first benefit. Then we are also saying that, remember, especially the ones from the international countries, they come here and stay longer. And the longer they stay here, the first advantage is that tourists will spend their money on tourism products and services, right? So when they come into South Africa, the reason why we want to have an annual number of visitors, it is because of their spending. The longer they stay here, it is the more they explore our attractions. The longer they stay here, it is more they spend their money on our roads. The longer they stay here, it is the more they spend their money on tourism products and services. So we want them to do that. Advantage number 2, remember, where are they spending this, right? They are spending their monies in local tourism businesses. So the local tourism businesses will get what? Will get profits, or they will have an increase in revenue. Remember, these people, they need what? They need accommodation. So they need to hire what? Accommodation. Sometimes they travel in groups. Number two, these people, they want to visit what? Our local attractions, our parks, and so on. And their entrance fees that must be paid there, right? And the longer they need to eat, they need to hire Avis car hire, for example. They need to go to our different car rental companies because they need to move, right? So all those businesses, they are going to be getting what? Revenue or profits from who? From the tourists. Advantage number three, we are saying the more they spend here in South Africa, it is the more our GDP figures are going to do what? To grow. Gross domestic products. And so the more they spend their money here in South Africa, it is the more our economy is going to do what? To going to increase. But advantage number four, remember, in all those tourism sectors where our tourists are going to be, the more tourists come here, it is going to be to cause what? A higher demand. Higher demand for what? For more people to come and cater for the tourist needs and wants. What does that mean now? It means that more jobs or employment opportunities will be done where in the tourism sector. And we know that when people have jobs, what will they get? They will get what? Salaries. And people getting salaries, what does that mean? It means what? Better improvement of life for everyone. So those are the advantages. And we know what when the majority are working, then what does that mean? Greater prosperity for our country. Right, number one, an increase in annual volume numbers of foreign arrivals will cause the following. The tourists will come and bring their monies here. And when they bring their money here, it is the more they're going to spend their money on tourism products and services. The more they spend their monies on tourism products and services, it is the more all those tourism businesses will be generating income. Travel agents will be making monies and so on. And the more the profits that these companies get, the more our GDP grows. And the high demand of these people, the high number of these people coming here will cause what? A more or a higher demand where in the tourism sector, whereby it means what? We need to employ what? More people. The more people are employed, the more people are going to earn what? Salaries, and then their lives does what? Improves. Right. We also want, the second one, remember we said we want to have an increase in international awareness. So reason number two, we said we want to have an increase in international awareness of what? Of South Africa as a travel destination of choice. So why do we want to have an increase in international awareness? Number one, we are saying once marketing has been done, right? Once South African tourism has went out to try to sell or to promote South Africa as a travel destination, an advantage is that many people are going to be aware of South Africa as a travel destination of choice. But why do you want to have an increase in this awareness? Number one, we are saying once tourists have a clear and strong image, picture, right? An image in this context, it is a picture or a perception of South Africa as a tourism destination, then there is what is a better chance that they will choose to visit our country, right? So remember, marketing is also very expensive. When you go out there, you are not going to your markets, but you are also going to additional new markets that you want to try to attract. So it is a win-lose situation, or sometimes a win-win. Once those people will see that you visited maybe UK, you want them to continue coming, and then they continue coming, then it means that is a win, right? But once you see a decline, then it means there is a problem. So we want them to have a strong image or a perception about South Africa as a tourism destination, so that they can have a better chance to do what? to choose us over other countries that we have, right? The second one, we are saying it is also therefore important for all travel agents, right? Remember, South African tourism does not work alone. So all those different entities that work together with SAT, they need to do the following. Therefore, it is important for travel agents, tour operators to have a positive image and spread it out, right? To have a positive image of South Africa as a travel destination of choice. The travel agents and tour operators, remember, these are the people who are providing, helping the international tourists with all the travel arrangements. They are the ones who are helping them with the booking car hires, booking accommodations. They are the ones who are helping them in terms of everything that they may need, their itineraries and so on in terms of tourism. So all those people who are working in the tourism industry, they need to make sure that they sell South Africa so that we can have a positive image. And once our country has a positive image, we know that might do what it will attract what? Travel and tourism in South Africa. So the travel agents, what must they do? They need to recommend, right? They need to sell or recommend what? South Africa as a destination to their customers or their potential tourists. All those people are going to be coming to those travel agents or to operators to ask for information and so on. They need to get right good information that might be able to do what? To attract them to South Africa. So, why do you want to have an increase in awareness? Once tourists have a clear and strong image of South Africa as a tourism destination, then there are better chances that they will choose to visit our country over other countries. So it is very important for all travel agents and tourism operators to have a positive image of South Africa as a travel destination. And then with this positive image, what will they do? They will recommend South Africa as a destination to their customers or their potential tourists or their markets. So how can we increase this international awareness? How can we make people to be aware of what South Africa can offer? Right? Remember we said we've got land markets, and air markets, right? When we're busy doing foreign market share, land markets, we said it is those countries whereby 60% of arrivals come to South Africa by land transport. And then air market, it is those ones who come here by 60% of them come here using aeroplanes or flights. So, especially for those who are air markets, remember they come from overseas countries. We need to come up with strategies in order for us to increase what? International awareness. We need to come up with strategies so that we can be able to try to convince them to come to South Africa. So what can we use in order for us to try to attract or to bring awareness of what South Africa can offer? We can use media, right? Both print and also electronic media, right? We can use media, we can use our newspapers, maybe we buy articles and then we put them in tourism and travel magazine, right? In all those different airline companies that we have, once people are browsing through the tourism magazine, then they can be able to see some of attractions that we have here in South Africa, right? The second one, we can also use the internet, right? In terms here, there is so much that we can do, right? We also have the South Africa's website, right? The website can be used, the one from SA Tourism. You will see it just now later. So the internet can be used to spread what? International awareness, right? Platforms such as media and internet can make tourists aware of what the country has to offer as a tourism destination. The second thing that we can use, it is hosting events, right? Remember, we spoke about global events in term 1 when the year started. So if we continue to host international events, events that can attract tourists from outside, then it is going to be easier for them to do what? To know and come to our country. Not only that, remember we said that in tourism context, service is provided by who? By people, right? So it is very imperative that we make sure that we employ people who have passion to work in the tourism industry. We employ people who are qualified. We employ people that have been trained, right? Why do you want that? Okay, the third point for us to increase, it is if we make sure that we have employed people that are qualified and that are passionate about service, then we will know that those people will offer what? Excellent service, right? So if those people who work in the tourism industry, they offer excellent service. I don't want good service. They offer excellent service. Then this will help in terms of what? Word of mouth, advertising. Right. And remember, I said that marketing is very expensive. So if we offer excellent service, if our tourism facilities are of great international standard, then this will reduce our costs in terms of marketing, because these tourists, when they come here, they will spread good news about our country when they get to their own countries. So 4 things that we can do. We can use media, we can use the internet, we can host events, and we can preach what? The importance of offering excellent service. We can also try by all means that all our travel and tourism facilities, they meet what? The international standards, right? Hence, we have the Gautrain now. We are also trying to make sure that we compete with what? With the international countries, so that all those people, when they come here, they can also say that in South Africa, there is also a Gautrain, right? So use social media, that's how we can bring awareness. Use the internet, that's how we can bring awareness. Host global events, that's how we can bring awareness. And everyone who works in the tourism industry, they need to preach and also practice what? The importance of offering excellent services. And we need to make sure that all the tourism facilities that we have in our country, they are of excellent quality that meets what? The international standards. All right. Now we move to in terms of, yes, we've spoken about what is marketing. We spoke about why must we do marketing, but we never spoke about whose responsibility actually is it to actually go out there and market South Africa internationally. Right. We are still available on our WhatsApp line 063 629 3655. 063 629 3655. Just send us a text there so that we can be able to communicate with you and respond to your questions. Right. So we are moving now to who markets South Africa internationally. Which organization is actually responsible or has been put in charge to market or promote South Africa internationally? We have the organization known as SA Tourism, right? SA Tourism. Be careful here. Remember, this is going to be part of your question 5 of your papers. We don't want learners to write SAT like this, right? Learners had to use marks last year by writing SAT when we were busy marking. So you need to write it in full, right? Avoid writing set. So it is SA Tourism or South African Tourism. We don't have acronyms here whereby we've got set. No, be careful of that. Right. So we've got South African Tourism or SA Tourism. Right. What is South African tourism? Right. We spoke about the public sector and the private sector in grade 10, if you remember very well. And this was one of the organizations that we dealt with. This is normally the logo of South African tourism. Let me go back, right? So South African tourism, it is the organization that is responsible for marketing South Africa both domestically and internationally, right? But our main focus today is the role of this organization in terms of marketing South Africa internationally. This is the organization's mandate. Its mandate it is to do what? To market South Africa internationally. How does this do this? How does this organization do this? We are saying that South African Tourism, or SAT, it has offices in most countries internationally. And them having to have offices in the countries internationally, then this is trying to do what? To cut down the cost in terms of shipping the material and so on. So they are renting offices or spaces in most countries internationally in order to enable the country to reach most of its potential markets. Right. So they also use a website. A website, remember, it is a web page. So before you visit a country, most of the time, obviously, you go to its tourism website. So South African tourism also uses its website, which is www.southafrica.net, to sell holiday packages. So all those people from international countries, meaning the ones from our air markets, if they want any information about South Africa's attractions, they can go to this web page, the website of South African tourism. So when you visit this website, you can get so much, right? You will get different holiday packages. You will get to browse through in terms of what tourism attractions do we have. You will get to find out the different types of accommodations that have been sold there. Some or most of them have been registered with Tourism Grading Council of South Africa. So they've got their offices internationally to try to do what? To market South Africa there in order for them to reach what? Many markets or many countries. There's also a website so that all those people from the international country, they can be able to use it. Remember, I said avoid writing SAT. So you need to write what? SA tourism. If maybe in one of your papers you are asked, what is the organization, or name the organization, or identify the organization that is responsible for marketing South Africa internationally, then you will say it is what? South SA tourism or South African tourism, and not SAT. Right. As I said, this is what they use in terms of South African tourism. This is the logo of South African tourism, and also the slogan, which is what? Inspiring new ways. Later, I'm going to talk about the logo, the importance of the logo, and also the slogan of South African tourism. Immediately when you see this, you must know this is for what? For product what? South Africa. Most of the time when we see the presidents, again, when they go out to attend events or expos outside, they normally wear scarves, and all those scarves they have what? South Africa's flag colors. So it is making what? Easier for them to be identified. Right. Then this is very important for your paper, right? We also need to know what is the core. The core meaning the main function or business of South African tourism. The first one, remember, we said the main function, we said it is to market South Africa international. But now on this slides, I'm giving to you the three main functions of South African tourism. I'm going to give you 2 minutes, if not 3, so that you can be able to try to jot down the core business or functions of South African tourism. This they can also ask you in one of your papers, and you need to know them exactly as they are. I'll be back just now. Right, welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. We are still busy with marketing, right? Marketing South Africa as a tourism destination. We explained what marketing is. We spoke about the organization that is responsible for marketing South Africa. We also spoke about the different reasons why we must market South Africa internationally. But now, since now we know which organization is responsible for marketing South Africa internationally, now we need to know the main three functions of this organization or the core business of South African tourism. South African tourism. The first one, it is marketing South Africa internationally as a tourism destination of choice. So the first function, it is to market South Africa internationally as a tourism destination of choice. This is the function of who? Of SAT. The second one, it is maintaining and enhancing what? The standards of facilities and services for who? For the tourist, right? And function number three, or business number three, it is in terms of coordinating the marketing activities of role players in the tourism industry. Then on the next slide, I'm going to try to explain each function a bit deeper. Function number one, marketing South Africa internationally and marketing South Africa internationally as a tourism destination of choice. Number two, maintaining and enhancing the standards of facilities and services for tourists. Number three, coordinating the marketing activities of role players in the tourism industry. Let's look at function number one. Function number one, which is said it is marketing South Africa internationally. I spoke about this, that South African tourism has what? Different offices internationally in order to enable them to enable the country to reach most of its potential markets. Then we also have other events. There are two main events that South African tourism tries to attend or attends annually in order for them to promote South Africa. We're going to speak about these events later. We've got ITB Berlin, and also we've got the World Travel Market. So these are the two main expos or convention centers or conventions whereby South African tourism can go there and promote South Africa. The website, again, it is also used. They are saying the SAT website also markets different areas and possible holiday options for tourists, focusing on main tourism attractions or destinations in South Africa. The second one, maintaining and enhancing the standards of facilities and services. It is very important for South Africa to meet what? The international standards. So we cannot have false marketing. What do we mean by this? So we are saying, for example, if a tourist from overseas has booked a 5-star hotel or a 4-star hotel, right? The same standard of a 5-star hotel that they have in overseas, it should be the same level as what they will experience here in South Africa or more, right? So if we do not meet the international standards, then we are going to chase away what? The tourists. Therefore, I'm saying it is important for South Africa to meet the international standards. So our tourism facilities or our travel and tourism infrastructure, it has to be maintained time and again so that we can meet the international standards, so that we can also do what? Meet the expectations of the tourists. So the same 5-star, as I said, that they have there in overseas. Remember, we also have the TGCSA, which is the Tourism Grading Council of South Africa. So the role or the function of TGCSA, it is in terms of the accommodation establishments, right? It is so that it makes sure that it does quality assurance of all the accommodation establishments that we have in South Africa, so that they can meet the international standards. So TGCSA uses what? The star grading system. So they will visit each, of course, on the request, right? There are also advantages of staying in a TGCSA accommodation establishment. This was also discussed in grade 10. So upon a request, if you are owning a PNB, or if you are owning a big conference venue, or if you are owning a hotel, for you to be rated 5-star, 4-star, 3-star, and so on, TGCSA personnel or a volunteer will come and assess all the facilities that you have in your hotel, all the services that you are providing in your hotel. Then someone will go and check. Based then on their findings, then they will either say, no, you belong under 3-star or 4-star. Then TGCSA will give you a plaque, the plaque that you're going to put where? Outside there, or by the entrance of your accommodation. Then we will know this is a 5-star hotel. 5-star and 4-star, obviously this is what? Excellent quality. And when you are part of that, then we know that you will have an advantage, because tourists will trust you more. So in terms of meeting international standards, our facilities and infrastructure must be maintained so that we can meet the international standards, so as to meet what? The expectations of our tourists. Right. Excellent service must also be preached, right? Throughout, especially to the people who are working in the tourism industry, as they are the ones who are providing excellent service. So we need to enhance. When you enhance something, you need to improve it, right? So excellent service must also be preached throughout, especially to the people who are working in the tourism industry, as they are the ones who are providing what? Service. One mistake that an international tourist will get, they will say, I went to South Africa and I experienced 1, 2, 3. Then that will paint what? A bad picture or image for the whole country. So it is very important that we also practice what? Excellent service when we are working in a tourism industry. Our transport system must meet the international standards. Our service provision must meet the international standards. Our facilities must be enhanced, must be maintained time and again, so that they meet the international standards. Right. So the South African tourism does not work alone. Remember, I said they work with the Tourism Grading Council of South Africa and also the Lilizela or Itia Awards. So this awards and also the TGSA, we said the TGSA grades accommodation establishments and awards the 1 to 5-star grading system. So why do they have this? They are trying to encourage the tourism businesses to provide excellent service and quality of facilities that meets the international standard. So we know that when you are part of the Tourism Grading Council of South Africa, then we have an advantage of getting more tourists compared to people who are not part of Tourism Grading Council of South Africa. So the Lilizela Awards, right? We also have the Lilizela Awards. Remember, here we are still talking about how can we maintain and enhance the standards of our facilities and services. So another thing that the South African tourism uses in order to encourage people to continue to provide excellent service is to give them what? The Lilizela Awards. So if we are a tourism business or a tourism company that works passionately and with pride and you deliver excellent service, then you might get what? the Lilizela Awards. And immediately when you get this award, you can also put it on your pamphlets when you are doing your marketing to show that you are a tourism business, or a business that has received the Lilizela Awards for your excellent service. So what are Lilizela Awards? They say the Lilizela Award, they recognize, right, appreciation there, reward and appreciate tourism players, even if you're a tour operator, and businesses who work passionately and with pride to do what? To deliver a world-class products and services, and whose delivery grows South Africa's global destination competitiveness. Remember, we are saying we also have countries that are competing with us, right? If they do more marketing, if all their businesses in that particular country, they are providing excellent service, then we are going to lose our foreign market share. So here in South Africa, we've got Lilizela Awards that is given to companies that, or businesses who work passionately and with pride to deliver world-class products, services, and whose delivery grows South Africa's global destination competitiveness. So obviously, once you are given recognition as part of the Lilizela Awards recipients, what will happen? It will give us national recognition, meaning everyone in South Africa now will know about your establishment. And this raises the profile. When you're talking about the profile now, people will know that your business or establishment does what? Offers what? Excellent service, both locally and internationally. Then what will happen? Then people will choose your business over other businesses because you will be known for receiving what? Lilizela Awards. So if we want to maintain and enhance our standards, it is very important that you make sure that you as a tourism business, you are part of TGCSA. You as a tourism business or a person working in the tourism industry, you practice and preach excellent service, the importance of offering excellent service. We try by all means to maintain our facilities. We try by all means to improve our facilities so that we can try to meet what? The international standards. Right. Then we move to function number 3. Function number 3 was coordinating the marketing activities of role players. Right. So what are we saying there? We are saying South African tourism cannot work alone. So if we want South African tourism to continue to have an increase in international tourism arrivals, we need to know that it needs other role players. It also needs other entities from public sector and some from the private sector. Let's just check the chain here in terms of the public sector for marketing. The first role player, remember we said we've got South African tourism, right? It is responsible for marketing what? South Africa International. But the main big department, it is the NDT, or National Department of Tourism. When we are talking about the National Department of Tourism here, we are talking about what? The Minister's Office. So the Minister's Office, it is also, remember, it is responsible for tourism in the whole country. And our tourism minister, it is Ms. Lindiwe Sisulu. So what is the function of NDT in terms of coordinating marketing activities? What role can NDT play in order to assist the SAT? The National Department of Tourism ensures that tourism makes a sustained and increasing contribution to our South Africa's economy. We need to remember that we said that another important thing in terms of tourism is that it plays a very big role on the economy. There we are talking about on South Africa's GDP. So the National Department of Tourism ensures that tourism makes a sustained, we're talking about what? Sustainability. It has to continue. to contribute where? To South Africa's economy. Then the second one, obviously, SAT, Market South Africa International. Then at provincial level as well. At provincial level, remember we've got 9 provinces. In grade 11, we spoke about provincial tourism organizations or provincial tourism authorities. So for it is provincial tourism organizations or authorities. Right. NDT, remember, is there at national level with South African tourism. But provinces, again, for us here in Gauteng province, we have Gauteng Tourism Authority, GTA. KwaZulu-Natal, it is Ezemvelo, KZN, right? Each and every province, it also has its own provincial department that is responsible for promoting tourism in that particular province. The Provincial Tourism Authority is also the one that issues permits. Permits for what? For tour guides, permits for travel agencies, and so on. And it also controls the tourism where in the province. So all these are the different companies or entities that has a particular role to play in the tourism industry. Obviously, from provincial, then we'll have municipal level. Also, the different municipalities, they're also responsible for what? For different parks in the municipality. So they also need to promote what? Travel and tourism in those areas, right? We need to know that all these entities, they also have their own functions in terms of increasing what? The number of tourists. Right, then we are moving to international events for marketing South Africa. International events for marketing South Africa. When we are talking about events, remember we spoke about this again in term 1. We said that these are the events that attract what? Tourists. So we also have 2 events whereby South Africa can go and do its marketing. Tourism intermediaries, when we're talking about intermediaries, we're talking about people, this is from economics, right? These are people who are selling products or tourism products on behalf of someone else. We call them what? Intermediaries. Obviously, for example, a president is very busy. A president will not be able to book their own accommodation, their own transport arrangements. So they will normally use what? Travel agents or tour operators on behalf so that they can be able to do what? To do all the travel arrangements. So we've got events for international marketing. So we are saying tourism intermediaries such as tour operators, travel agents are crucial, meaning they're important in generating tourism businesses for a country or a destination. So we need the tour operators, we need the travel agents, because without them, then travel and tourism would also not be successful. So why do we need them? We are saying tour operators are aware, right? They are aware of what a destination offers. They know the attractions. They know the hotels or the places of accommodation. They know the attractions. So tour operators are aware of what a destination offers and have access to local tourism service providers. So they can be able to design and promote itineraries and packages for that destination. So we need them very much. Also, we are saying that South African tourism, they also have stands where at international travel events or expos, right? So we will have a particular stand in that particular color. Let me just show you here. This is what we're talking about, for example. So we will have a stand for product South Africa. So people will come here, this is an expo that we're talking about, they will come here and get what? All the information that we want to know about product South Africa. So South African tourism have stands. Obviously, you rent those stands. Remember we said marketing is very expensive. It has those stands at international travel events or expos to sell South Africa. So in those events, we'll have South African tourism on top. All the tourism businesses that we have in our country, such as tour operators, travel agents, different airlines or flights, different hotel groups, different companies that offer safaris and so on, they will be invited to those events. Then they go there, and then they will be obviously on the stall or stands for Products South Africa. Then they will be interacting with all those people, but now we're at international level. Right, let's check now which events are we talking about. I remember in one of the papers they did ask this. So we've got 2 events for international, and we also have 2 events for domestic. But here are the tips to prepare or to study for international events. Number 1, you need to know the name of the event. Right? The name of the event, for example, we've got ITB Berlin, right? We've got World Travel Market, right? This is at international events, right? So those are the only 2. So you need to know the correct name. Number 2, you should be able to know how to identify the event by the logo. Let me just go here. For example, this logo here, it is the logo for the World Travel Market. So they might just give you this and say, identify the event or explain to us what happens there. Let me go back. So you need to know the name of the event, either World Travel Market or ITB Berlin. Know how to identify the event by the logo. Remember the previous slide. Know as well what happens at that particular event. Right? It is an expo whereby different tour operators, they get to interact under one roof. This is what you know what happens there. Also know the location. In which country would we have this ITB Berlin or World Travel Market? And when? Here we're talking about what? The time or the month of the year and so on. Some of these events, they could not take place because of the COVID-19 that happened last year, right? Let's just check the first event. So for all these events, you must know the correct name. You must know how to identify the event by the logo. You must know what happens at that particular event. You need to know the particular event in terms of location and timing in terms of when does it take place. Right, let's just discuss the first one. Here's the image. Remember we said it's an expo, right? As you can see here, this one is in Berlin. Right. ITB Berlin, right? The first one, it is known as an ITB Berlin convention, or you can also say a trade show. This one is considered to be the world's travel trade show, meaning it is the world. What happens here? Just check the figures, check the numbers. It draws more than 170,000 visitors. Big numbers of people who are working in the tourism industry to come here and promote their tourism products and services. It also includes over about 108 trade visitors and over 10,000 exhibitors from 180 countries. So South African tourism also does go here to represent what? Product South Africa. So it is a big event whereby South African tourism can also go and do a world trading travel show and sell the tourism products that we have here in South Africa. You're going to interact with over 170,000 visitors, over 108 trade visitors, and over 10,000 exhibitors from 180 countries. So it is a big opportunity. When you look at this picture again, you can tell that people are busy here, right? There's an expo there in Berlin. Remember, I said when I was dealing with these tips, I said know the name of the event, know how to identify the event by the logo, know what happened at the event, know the location and when does it take place. Okay. When we're talking about the ITB Berlin, it takes place around March, where in Berlin, the capital city there of Germany. What happens here? Remember, this one also answers what? What happens here, right? Then this one answers what? The when, right? So what happens here? All types of organizations such as tour operators, booking companies, car rental companies, airline companies, different hotel chains, they all go and attend what? The ITB Berlin, right? So it is one of the biggest events whereby South African tourism can go and promote its products and services internationally. We are still available on our WhatsApp line 063 629 3655 063 629 3655. This is where you can be able to interact with us as we are dealing with your questions. We do respond when we get them. This was the first event whereby South African tourism can go and do its marketing. The second one, it is the World Travel Market London, or you can just write WTM, but you need to know the name in full. I would advise you to know the name in full. We'll have the World Travel Market London. This is what we are talking about here. For this year, it is going to take place when? 7, 8, 9 of November 2022. Again, as you can see here on this second image on my right, there we've got what an expo. As you can see, those people are very, very, very big. People from international countries, they come here to bring their foreign currencies. All the tourism businesses are coming here to do what? To promote and sell their tourism products and services. There's the logo again of the World Travel Market. Where's the one for ITB Berlin? Okay, we'll look for it. It is also there on your textbook. So the World Travel Market London for this year, it is going to take place where? Between the 7th and the 9th of November 2022. Right. We are almost done, but we are getting there. Then we move to something very important. There is a reason as to why I'm showing you this logo. This is the TOMSA, which is a tourism levy South Africa, right? Adding value. Why do we have this? We need to remember that we said one of the responsibilities of South African tourism is to go out there and do marketing. Remember, they are renting spaces or offices there in overseas. Remember, when you have to go and do marketing, you need to print hard copies, meaning you need to print pamphlets and so on. You need to do posters. There are people who are going to be sent overseas to go and do marketing. They need accommodation, they need transport, they need food and so on. So what are we saying here? To rent a space, to rent those offices then overseas, to attend this actual event, it is not for free. So South African tourism needs what? Needs money. Needs what? Funding for that. So this is where now this organization comes in, the TOMSA Levy, Tourism Levy South Africa. So, because we are talking about money, we also have this TOMSA Levy, which is a funding initiative so that South African tourism can be able to go out there to do with marketing. So if we are a tourism business, then we are not paying this levy. After this lesson, please try to consider that. So what is a TOMSA levy? It is a fee, right? It is a 1% levy or fee for every confirmed booking for a car rental, tour operators and accommodation establishments taken from the tourist money and given to South African tourism by TBCSA for marketing. So let us say that you were renting a car for maybe 8 days, and then they say you need to pay 9,600 rands. So on this 9,600 rand, 1% it's gonna be a 1/100 times the total. Then it's gonna be 960. Yes. So 1% of this will be given to who? To the tourism trading. To TOMSA to do what? To South African tourism to do its marketing. So for every confirmed booking for a car, for tour operators, for accommodation, then I said, for example, this tourist, they are going to charge him 9,600 for 9 days for renting a car. Then they will take what? 1% of this money, and this money will be given to TBCSA, Tourism Business Council of South Africa, as part of the TOMSA levy. Then Tourism Business Council of South Africa will take this money and give it to South African tourism. Then South African tourism will be able to do its marketing. So what is TOMSA levy? It is a 1% fee or levy for every confirmed booking for car rental, tour operators, and accommodation establishments taken from the tourist money and given to South African tourism by Tourism Business Council of South Africa for its marketing initiatives. Please do also check the logo of TBCSA there on your textbook. So the levies are paid to TBCSA, which is the main body that is administering TOMSA. The levy, it is voluntary. It is not what? A must. But if you are working in the tourism industry, you need to consider this. So tourists pays the levies and the tourism business act as a collector. The levy is paid monthly to TBCSA. Then TBCSA transfers the money quarterly to South African tourism. Then South African tourism will do what? Will have money to go and promote South Africa where international. We need to know that for your question 5. That's the logo of TOMSA. Right, before we move then, we also have the last 2 events. We spoke about the events where South Africa can be able to be promoted international. So domestically again, or here in Africa, we also have our 2 events whereby South Africa can be able to be marketed, meaning the tourism products that we have can be marketed. So we have this one formerly known as Tourism Indaba, but now it is now known as Africa Travel Indaba. Africa Travel Indaba. It took place again here in South Africa a few weeks ago. Now in May. As you can see in this picture, I've got the image of our Minister of Tourism, Ms. Lindiwe Sisulu. Obviously, she was offering a speech there. Then on this right, we've got the delegates who are coming here to come and attend the expo or the Africa Travel Indaba is Imbizo, right? So what happens now at this Tourism Indaba or Africa Travel Indaba? So it is the show that is hosted again by who? By South African tourism. When? Annual. Obviously, due to COVID-19, it could not take place, but this year it took place. This one happens every year in Durban, in KwaZulu-Natal, around May. Right? What happens at Africa Travel Indaba? It showcases a wide variety of Southern Africa's best tourism products, and also here it gives an opportunity for small businesses to have a chance to market their tourism businesses. So if you are a big tourism business there at home, you need to know about the Africa Travel Indaba, so that every year it is also open to the public, so that you can be able to come there and promote your legit tourism business. You'll get a chance again to interact with people from Africa. Imagine coming from Africa, so you can also be able to sell your tourism products and services. The second event that we have, the first one we said is Africa Indaba. The second one we've got the Getaway Show, right? The Getaway Show, this one they also have the Travel and Tourism magazine. They also publishes what? Their tourism magazine. But what happens now at the Getaway Show? The Getaway Show, it is normally held in Cape Town and also in Johannesburg annual. Obviously, the dates are going to change time and again. But what happens here, they promote the best known outdoor equipment, right? Remember, we also have tourists who like nature and so on. So if you want to buy tents, if you want to buy cameras, if you want to buy gas stoves, real ones, right? Then you will go and get information from the Getaway Show, the tents, the caravans, and so on. So the Getaway Show promotes the best known outdoor equipment, and they are also an adventure for tourism. They also exhibit safari to operators and 21 tourism destinations in Southern Africa. Right. So the tour operators, they also get it so that they can be able to promote their tourism products. This picture obviously is for the tourism Indaba, also known now as Africa Travel Indaba. So change that name there on a textbook. Then this was the Cape Town Getaway Show. What also happens here, if you are checking those images, you can see that they are trying to do what? To show you everything that you can be able to experience at that particular expo. Right. Then we are moving to the last thing now, whereby we are going to be talking about branding, right? So branding, when you're talking about a brand, but in tourism context and also in business studies, a brand, it is a name. All of us use different cell phones. Nowadays, an iPhone, right? It is expensive to some of us, but an iPhone, when one has an iPhone, they are perceived as being rich or Smart 2000 says up to standard and so on. So when you own that particular phone, obviously it is part of a brand. Some own Samsung and so on, Huawei and so on. So a brand, it is a name, a slogan, or a symbol, a combination of all, right? Your school uniform, it is what? It is a brand, right? So you need to wear it with pride. What does a brand do? It identifies what? The offer. Remember, here we are talking about what? Marketing. So a brand identifies the offering of a business or a destination to make it stand out from its competitors. So if South Africa needs to stand out from other countries, then South African tourism had to design its own brand logo. There it is. So this is brand South Africa. Right? And then what is the slogan? The slogan, it is inspiring what? New ways. So on all the tourism marketing products that we are selling in South Africa, they need to have our brand. What does a brand do? Number one, it identifies the offering. In this context, it identifies what? South Africa. Then we are saying, why must we have a brand? Why branding? We are saying a distinctive brand image. It is able to make the business to be easily recognizable and convey a specific message to its customers. So hence, South African tourism have their own what? Brand for brand South Africa. So brand South Africa's role, it is to create a positive, unified image of South Africa, one that builds pride. The brand also promotes investment. and tourism. It also helps what new enterprises or tourism businesses. It also helps to create what job creation. So we also have a website for Brand South Africa that creates what a positive image for all of us. So a brand separates what it makes a business to stand out from its competitors. So that is why we have concept of branding in tourism. There's the logo, South Africa, inspiring new ways, right? Another slogan is that hashtag I do tourism, hashtag we do tourism. Before I move to the activities, this is where I'm going to end, but we still need to do activities. Let's just recap a bit. We did what marketing is, then we all know that. Why are we doing marketing? So that we can have a rise or an increase in international arrivals. We also looked at the South African tourism and its role, right? Or the main core functions of South African tourism. Then we moved to events where South African tourism can be, where South Africa can be promoted or marketed. We spoke about events at international level. We also spoke about events at domestic level. Then we also spoke about funding for South African tourism, whereby we included TOMS. Then we concluded a bit by talking about branding. Now let's go to activities in terms of how can this content be asked. This is from some of the National Department of DBE papers. So it's very important that you practice for your exam using what? Past exam papers. Activity 1. Study the spider diagram below and answer the questions that follow. The first one, what happens here? We've got 3 people, as you can see. The first one says, did you know that South Africa has the most recognizable flag in the world? Remember I spoke about it. The second one, person says, did you know that I'm a South African brand ambassador? Right? There's the person. And then the third one, they are saying a brand is not merely a logo, a slogan. It represents what? The country and how its people touch the world, right? Let's just now go to the questions. They are saying here, question 1, the comments above promote South Africa's image. Remember I spoke about that. I said it is the perceptions that a country has. By referring to the above comments, suggest 2 other ways in which ordinary South Africans can also be ambassadors to promote South Africa. What can we do as individuals in order to promote South Africa as a tourism destination? Then question 2 says, discuss 3 positive ways in which a recognizable global brand can position South Africa as an attractive destination of choice. Let's check. The first one, they said, how can you be an ambassador, right? An ambassador, remember, you represent something. So where we go, we need to represent what? South Africa. Number 1, we can make tourism everyone's business. What do you mean by that? You need to make tourism your business by, if a tourist comes to you and asks for directions, give to them. We can also be an ambassador by working together. We can also be an ambassador by providing excellent service, and so on and so on. What does a brand do? That was question number 2. A brand helps to create a positive, unified image of South Africa. A brand, it builds what? Pride. A recognizable brand to promote South Africa on an international platform. It enables South Africa to function as a competitive destination in the global arena. This is some of the questions that we have and the memo. Question 2. Remember the things that we are doing. They are saying, state the main target. State the main target of the Indaba Travel and Trade Show. Then question 2, besides the Indaba, name 1, check here now, they are saying local trade show and 1 international trade show. What did we talk about there? Remember we said the main target obviously is there for tourism industry, it is tourism operators, all those people who are working in the tourism industry and so on. Then besides tourism Indaba, which other local show do we have? We have the Gateway, the Getaway Show. And they're also saying one international. There we spoke about two. We spoke about World Travel Market, and we also spoke about ITB Berlin. So you need to know all these things because this is how they are normally asked on your exams. Let me just check the last two. 6.4, explain how South African tourism gets funding. I spoke about this. So how do we get funding? We said, remember, we collect the 1% tourism levy through TBCSA for every confirmed booking for accommodation, car hire, blah, blah, blah. Then this money will be given to South African tourism to do its marketing. Then another question again from another past paper. I think that's the last question. Then they are saying again, let's check 6.1. You need to read the scenario. Then they are saying, write out acronym TOMSA in words, Tourism Marketing Organization of South Africa. Name 3 sectors that are currently contributing to the tourism levy. I mentioned that. Which sectors? Remember, I said it is the accommodation. And then I said it is the transport, the car hire or travel sector. And then the last one, I said it is the tour operators. Let's check. Accommodation sector there, tour operators there, travel agencies there, car rental there. What does TOMSA stands for? Tourism Levy South Africa. Then again, discuss the relationship between TOMSA and South African tourism. Remember, I said TOMSA collects what? The monies and gives these monies to South African tourism for what? To do its funding. What does TBCSA do? Remember, I said TBCSA does what? It acts as an intermediary. It is the one that is collecting all those funds. Then the last one, discuss the role of South African tourism in marketing South Africa internationally. So this is how some of these questions can be asked on your exams, right? Thank you for your time. Thank you for watching. Remember, we said sanitize, practice social distancing, and wear your mask. Hashtag I do tourism. Hashtag we do tourism. All the best. Mr. Nkonyene Wasiye. See you next time.